What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. All right, everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel for another round of news updates here. We're going to start this one off with an update from Akim Williams. So Akim dropped a few updates here at 7 weeks out of the Olympia. And this looks like it's going to be one of the best packages that we've seen from Akim in really a number of years. That's what we've been seeing from Akim Williams in the 2024 bodybuilding season. You guys got to think, this guy was a top 6 finisher at the Olympia at one point. And now, after a few seasons of really struggling to get back to that former glory, and a lot of people out there completely writing the guy off, he's really coming back. I mean, from what we're seeing here at 7 weeks out, we are seeing some striations through the chest. I'm seeing some good separation in the abs here. It looks like the intercostals are coming in. I would like to see maybe a little bit more detail in the quads at this point, but we are seeing a couple of striations here in the glutes as well. Good hamstring separation. It's really going to come down to show day for Akim Williams, you know? But from what we're seeing here, I wouldn't say he's necessarily behind in particular, especially having Chris Aceto in his camp, you know, leading him in. I think Akim is going to come in again at his best here. And this is a guy that will have a chance at cracking that top 10 if he does bring his best, because we have seen Akim's best, really, that he's brought to the stage in a few years. Just this year alone, this guy won the Toronto Pro. This guy came 6th at the Arnold Ohio. He came 6th at the Arnold UK. And really brought an incredible physique, you guys. Now, this was from the Arnold UK, and I mean, just look at what we're seeing here. The cross striations and the teardrops, you know, the conditioning factor that he's been lacking overall for the past number of years. He is back, ladies and gentlemen, and he is back in full force. So I do think that we're going to see great things from Akim this year. I don't know if I'm going to have him in my top 10 predictions as of yet, because, I mean, we've got so many great competitors and we've still got 7 weeks to go. So we'll see what the updates look like as we continue here. But from what we are seeing from Akim right now, I'm very encouraged. One guy that has been dropping a ton of very impressive updates lately, Jewett, your winner of the 2024 Vancouver Pro, and his first time competing in the Olympia stage in the open division. This guy came from the 212, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, John says that he's weighing in around 240 odd pounds and really dialing in. If you go and look at his Instagram, he'll put all of the information for you there of exactly what it is that he's going through right now. His training, you know, how he's feeling, how he's changing little variables. He puts it all out there. Very impressive coach, of course. But the physique, let's talk about the physique here. Look at what we're seeing here from a guy that just really came over from the 212. What was his first open show in 2023? And he was placing very highly, pretty much right out of the gate. But this was definitely his breakout year. Unbelievable physique here. We're seeing details in the quads, the roundness in the quads, you know, just the overall balance from top to bottom, the striations through the chest, shoulders, everything is dialed in right now for Jewett. He has this absolutely on lockdown. All it's really going to come down to for John is nailing his peak on show day. And I am very confident that he will nail that peak on show day. Now, here's another guy that it might be difficult to place when it comes to that top 10. He looks here like he would be able to place inside of that top 10. The side leg, I will say, maybe I'd like to see some more separation there. But look, this is just one video, so it's hard to say. But this could be a situation where looks are a little bit deceiving when it comes to actually being on your own as opposed to being in a lineup. I think when John does stand next to some of the bigger guys in the lineup, that's exactly what it's going to be. I do think that John may end up being outsized because, like I said, 240 pounds, a very impressive 240 pounds. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Jewett fan, but I do think that he might end up getting outsized here. Although he does have that compact look, like, well, Hadi Chupin and Derek Lunsford really have as well, which are the top 2 in the world right now. You know, if I did have to bet here, I would say that John probably will be one of the more conditioned guys in the show. And I do think that he'll end up making that second call-out, especially the way that the Olympia's been going, where they typically do like 6-man call-outs in the open. I think that you can see John in that conversation. A physique like this, it'd be hard to see him anywhere outside of that second call-out, honestly. First call-out, I mean, look, let's be realistic here. Not going to be in the first call-out, but going to bring an impressive package? Absolutely. Second call-out? Most definitely. Potential to move up. Most definitely. He's not missing anything in particular. He's got great balance from top to bottom. He's got great width across the back. Look at the detail in the back here. I mean, he's got striations going through his traps. That is a true mark of conditioning. Everybody talks about glutes, everybody talks about hamstrings, and absolutely, those are true marks of conditioning as well. But through the traps, that's a level of conditioning, muscularity, that really does separate the men from the boys in a lot of instances here. So, you guys let me know what you think about John Jewett, how he's looking here. Obviously, it was a good move to move up to the Open here, but where do you see John Jewett placing in this year's Open class in the Olympia? You guys let me know in the comments below. Brett Wilkin, you guys. Now, here are some very impressive updates. We've got some updates from Brett here at about 5 weeks out, I believe it is, from the Legion Sports Fest. Now, keep in mind one thing I want to put out front there. The Legion Sports Fest will no longer qualify you for this year's Olympia. It now qualifies you for next year's Olympia. So essentially what Brett is trying to do is duplicate exactly what it is that he did last year. He wants to qualify for the Olympia early, take an entire year to make improvements, and then come in and really just try to be on the level that the competitors are on these days when it comes to the top of the top in the Open class. Because Brett looks great here. I think that Brett did improve when it comes to muscularity. I think he's definitely bigger pretty much everywhere. Actually, well, definitely everywhere. You can say that safely for sure. The cap delts, the size of the arms, the quads, everything came up for Brett Wilkin. And that's exactly what he needed here. But we're talking about Brett wanting to be the best in the world. We're talking about Brett Wilkin wanting to get into that first call-out on the Mr. Olympia stage. Is he big enough yet? I would say that more size is definitely not going to hurt. And this strategy, I think, will work well. Will work well? Yeah. I think it'll work well for Brett Wilkin overall. But this is just it. He's already done this kind of thing. He's put in the work. He's made the improvements. He's shown that this will work for him. Unfortunately, he ended up sick last year. Stomach issues, couldn't digest things, just overall a really bad scene for Brett Wilkin. Those things are now worked out. He's actually been back to making progress for quite some time now. Do I think that he can win the Legion Sports Fest? I don't know who else is going to come in and try to do this show to try to qualify for next year's Olympia. I haven't seen anybody else out there that's really in shape right now or even preparing for this show. So it'll be interesting to see who Brett does have to go up against. But you can be very confident in saying that Brett has a very, very strong chance of coming in, taking that win, using the same strategy as last year, and really showing up at the 2025 Olympia massively improved and ready to do his own set of damage. So again, you guys let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think about this current version of Brett Wilkin? Do you think that this strategy will work for him again? And do you see him as a top Olympian someday? Do you see this guy cracking the top 6 at the Olympia? You guys let me know below. All right, last update of the day here is going to be Samson Dauda. So this is Samson training at about 7 weeks out of the Olympia here, maybe a little bit less. If there's one thing that I don't think that Samson gets enough credit for, it's how hard this guy actually does train. Because after the whole split with Milos thing, there was a lot of conversation around how Samson doesn't want to do the hard dieting and Samson doesn't want to do the amount of cardio that it's going to take. We all know that Samson didn't want to do the drugs that it would take, going into that, what was it, just after the 2022 Olympia. We saw Samson completely change his physique after Milos changed the PED protocol that Samson maybe wasn't willing to do before. And I don't want to speak, out of turn or anything like that. But that's the story that went around. And it came from Milos himself. But anyway, Samson, I don't think gets enough credit for how hard the guy actually trains. He goes really, really hard in the gym. And of course, that's a serious component as to why he's making the progress that he's even making. Forget about all the other nonsense that's been talked about the last year when it comes to the Milos split and the blocking of Milos and Dennis James and the Dubai thing where, okay, I will say that Samson going to Dubai, stating, on record that Dubai was basically the new hub for bodybuilding and that it's such a prominent place for bodybuilding and everybody should come to Dubai, and then Samson ends up leaving Dubai, not training there at all. You can see how there's a bit of a mixed message there. But when we're talking about just getting down to really hard, heavy training, Samson is 100% that guy. Look at the suffering, you know? Like, this guy is hurting, man. So aside the fact that I do think Samson is going to bring his absolute best to the Olympia stage this year, I did want to highlight the fact that this is part of why. Now, when it comes to the physique, I think that this is a huge testament to the hard and heavy training that Samson does do. You don't get round muscle bellies like this. You don't get this muscle density unless you really go for that hard and heavy training. Now, there's been lots of talk around about Samson editing his photos and perhaps that this one is edited. I really think regardless of that, this is showing enough of the fact that Samson is willing to go to that place when it comes to training. And look, most of us here are just that. We're gym enthusiasts. We're gym rats. This is what we do, is training. This is what we can relate to. This is something that I really enjoy when it comes to covering professional bodybuilding. Now, I don't have my predictions down as of yet when it comes to the Olympia. We're too far out from the show. But don't be surprised if I've got Samson in my top 3. Let me know if you guys got Samson in your top 3 so far. All right, I'm going to wrap this one up right here. That's going to do it for me in this video, you guys. Thank you for tuning into EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.